I want to take a look at just one sequence that I think could be a major factor in the fight. This is not going to be a full breakdown, but rather just looking at one aspect that might play out in the fight. We'll see. The title of this breakdown is The Right Hand Over the Top, really. It's the punch that Brian Castano was able to land over and over again against Charlo, especially in their first fight. Here it is right here. So Charlo has a lot of good qualities, but one of them that is not as good, and I think will give a lot of problems to himself, really, rather than problems to Canelo in the fight, is his lack of different types of jabs. He tends to throw one type of jab. He will throw it to the head and body, but it's one speed, and it's in a certain timing. So in the first fight, Castano was able to put a right hand over the top of Charlo's jab over and over again, and it was pretty much the biggest problem that Charlo had in that fight. It kind of led to all the other problems that Castano had. Castano was able to land that right hand and then start working inside. So here it is. Charlo jabs, Castano with the right hand over the top. And then he's able to work. And we can see Jermell's not super comfortable in the inside like that. Here's another example. Another thing to think about is Jermell likes to be in the Philly shell with his lead hand down, like Floyd Mayweather, James Toney, a lot of others. But the problem is he doesn't really roll. He doesn't really roll the shoulder from that position. He just kind of poses in it. And so that's a problem. And we can see right here, Castano jabs down, right hand over the top, doesn't land cleanly, but that's it's still indicative of the problem. He's not rolling right there. Charlo's not rolling right here, and so that right hand over the top, if it was placed more accurately, could have been devastating. Here's another example of almost the same sequence. Jab to the body. All right, setting it up. Jab to the body. Look at Charlo's hand placement. He's still in that shell, really, but he's not rolling from it. Then you think another jab's going to come, right? Nope, it's the right hand over the top. That one, Charlo just takes a half step back. Doesn't land. If it did, it was very glancing. Here's another example from the first fight. It's the exact same sequence. Charlo jabs. The right hand comes over the top. So for Canelo fans, this is great news because this is the exact same game plan that he used to knock out Amir Khan. We can see right here, Canelo, who's much more explosive than Castano. Castano is probably a bit more reckless and awkward, but Canelo, much more slick in the inside, more of a explosive fighter. But anyway, let's look at what he was doing against Amir Khan and how that could maybe translate to the Charlo fight. So we can take a look right here what Canelo's game plan was in the Amir Khan fight. Check out the right hand to the body. You can see it. There's the right hook, really, to the body of Amir Khan. Again, feint up top. Show to the head, hook's going to come around to the body. There it is, right? Check out the lead hand, though. That's important. Lead hand showing, right hand to the body. Okay. So that's all to set up. Here we go again. Right hand to the body. And look at Amir Khan's hand. Talking about Charlo's hand placement. Look at Amir Khan's hand placement during this sequence. It's really terrible. Both hands down, pairing. Canelo's landing the right hand to the body. But because of Amir Khan's placement, he's also going to land this hook to the head. But as we see, I think everyone's probably seen this highlight reel knockout. The thing that Canelo does really well is, of course, switch up the body attack, But what he'll do that Castaño did not do is condition a fighter by throwing to the body, to the body, to the body, and then waiting and having the discipline, very experienced fighter, Canelo, right? Having the discipline to wait to round 6. Wait a few rounds of conditioning, letting something happen and brew to then unleash the knockout that we've all seen, right? Khan thinks it's going to the body. Boom. And really, Khan was trying to throw a check hook off there. But, it's switching up the body and head attack. And there's the knockout of Amir Khan. So take a look at this. And then take a look at this. I think if that's 168-pound Canelo, much more explosive than Castaño, landing that, it could be an early night for Charlo. There's so many other things we could talk about in this fight. It's pretty interesting, but we're just focusing on that. Going to try and keep it a bit more compact and short. So if you are a Charlo fan, though, there's still hope. Because let's look at his adjustments that he made in the Castaño rematch. And he did make adjustments. So I'm sure they looked at the film. They said, okay, pretty much 80% of your troubles in that fight was the right hand over the top. And that would create sequences where you were out of position. So he had some varied answers to the right hand over the top in the second fight. So he's more aware of it right here. Small step back, half a step back, left hook counter. Here's the right hand, and then a left hook afterwards. But really, it's the left hook, the small step back left hook. The rest is just a sequence afterwards. Here's another example. Just duck. But check out the hand placement. So Philly Shell sees the right hand. We can't really see his Charlo's right glove. You can kind of see it right there. It's jabbing. But he has the athletic ability and now the intelligence to know the right hand's coming over the top. Not only does he duck, he brings his other glove up. Then right here, catch, shoot. So he's just catching. It's not the perfect angle, but you can imagine Charlo's holding the phone over here with that glove. He's going to catch the right hand from Castaño, come back with a left hook. Another way he was able to add wrinkles to his game was just to pivot off the right hand. Use his footwork, right? There's two problems, though, here for Charlo fans. The first one is, if you're a fan of Charlo, you would have liked to see him make those adjustments in the first fight, not to have to wait to the rematch. And the second thing that's hard for Charlo fans is he still was getting caught with these right hands in the second fight. And here's just another point. We're pretty much, in this last clip, I'll try and keep it about the right hand, but there's a couple other things that I'll maybe just briefly touch on. Take a look at this sequence and imagine it's Canelo. So Charlo does really well here, using lateral movement, coming with a sneaky uppercut, catches Castaño, and then rolls out underneath. This is really great stuff. Then moving his head again. The right hand's coming, moving. Really slick stuff. It comes with a jab, right hand. So he's cutting angles, he's moving his head, anticipating counters, and okay, great jab. Good right hand. Comes a little square there, but still. Okay, his ring position. Look at the ring position now. So if we can imagine the Bivol fight, Bivol would have held that position. Look what happens to Charlo, though. So he's working. This is a great sequence if you're Jermell Charlo. Points, damage, points. Okay, Castaño comes back out. Not bad. Parries the jab, comes with the tries with the check hook, rather. Tries with the check hook. But then right here is the problem. He's squared up. That right hand is awkward, and then he's off balance and falls into the ropes. Now, what should have been just complete, domination for the last 30 seconds of this round will turn into this. Castaño working. And Jermell letting Castaño see the emotion. That's another thing that I think could really sabotage Jermell in the fight, being too emotional. But anyway, the thing that created that whole sequence again, though, if we watch thinking about the right hand, is right here. Off balance with Castaño, the right hand over the top. So this is a sequence that was happening in the first fight a lot. That was giving Jermell problems. It doesn't happen as much in the second fight. And of course, he stops Castaño. But this is the kind of thing. Had a great sequence, and then in the pocket is not always as good as he can be. Because, right, if we go back to here, this is the pocket, and he looks fantastic. But then we go 15 seconds later, right here, that's awkward. And then the right hand's going to come over the top. And then from there, it's the same thing as the first fight. Now Castaño is able to do exactly what he wants to do, which is work